So in the last session we have seen how to create the supplier, right? So we created supplier, and before we create supplier we have to make sure that supplier number is we just entered by using the specify supplier numbering task. And we have seen the common options also, common options for payables and procurement. When you implement payables, we have to set the common options so that when we start recording the transaction, whatever the accounts are available in the common options, the same time whatever the accounts are required based on the transaction, system will pick those. Now let's talk about reference data set. So at the time of business unit creation and location creation, we have seen set. Okay, at the time of BU creation, we could see the name as a default set. At the time of location creation, the same we have there as a location set. Already we discussed. Wherever you see something as a set, that is nothing but a reference data set. Reference data set. Okay, reference data set. So what is the use of reference data set? Let's take simple example here. So when you create invoice, okay, when you create invoice, we have to give the payment terms. We have to enter the payment terms. Based on the payment terms, system will calculate the due date. Say supplier given the payment terms as the 10 days. When we are entering that invoice in the system, we have to use the payment term called as the 10 days. So 10 days means exactly on which date we have to make the payment. System will calculate the due date. So in every invoice, payment terms are mandatory. Now say you have a multiple business units and you have a different payment terms in each business unit. How you have to manage, how system will support, we'll see that. Say we have a payment term called as one payment term called as immediate. Other payment term say net 45. That means we have to pay in 45 days. Say net 15, net 30. Okay. Just I am taking example here, 4 payment terms. Immediate payment term, net 45, net 15, net 30. Immediately we have to pay. If you buy from that supplier, we have to pay immediately. On the same date we have to pay. And net 45 you can pay within 45 days, and 15 means you can pay within 15 days. 30 means you can pay within 30 days. So with the help of these payment terms, we can calculate the due date. Okay, if you are going to create invoice today, if you use the payment term called as net 30, exactly on which date we have to pay, the payment term can calculate the exact due date. Okay, fine. So now, if you say for example, you have a different business units. So BU1, BU2, BU3. Okay, you have 3 business units and you have multiple payment terms. Now the requirement is the BU1 you need immediate payment term. The BU1 when you create invoices you want to use immediate payment term. So what are the payment terms we are going to create in the system? Those payment terms won't be available directly for any business unit. Okay, no BU can have access payment terms immediately. To give the access to business units, okay, to give the payment terms access to business units, what we have to do is we have to associate those payment terms to business units. We have to associate payment terms to business units. Here, if you want to assign, immediate payment term to business unit, what we have to do is we have to create the reference data set. You may create the reference data set called as BU1 reference data set. Okay, BU1 reference data set. Now you can assign this payment term to that reference data set. Okay, you can assign immediate payment term to BU1 reference data set. Now this reference data set you have to assign to BU. Okay, this reference data set you can assign to BU1. Okay, so immediate payment terms we have to assign to BU1 RDS reference data set. That reference data set we have to assign to BU1. Now BU1 will have access to BU1 RDS. So to BU1 RDS already we assigned immediate payment term. Now BU1 can have access to immediate payment term with the help of BU1 RDS. That means what is the purpose of RDS reference data set? With the help of reference data set only, BU can have access to payment term. Just we are taking the example of payment terms in the same way for many setups. Okay, the reference data set will help BUs to have access. With the help of reference data set, BUs can have access to payment term. Now say BU1 required access to net 30 payment term also. Now already BU1 RDS is assigned to BU1. Now what we can do is, if BU1 need access to net 30, assign net 30 payment term also to the same reference data set, so that the BU1 can have access to immediate and net 30 payment terms with the help of BU1 RDS. Say BU3 need access to immediate payment term. In that case, what we can do? We can create BU3 RDS. Now you can assign immediate payment term to that reference data set. One payment term can be assigned to multiple reference data sets. Assign that immediate payment term to BU2 RDS. Then assign this reference data set to BU3. Now BU3 can have access to immediate payment term. If BU3 need access to other payment terms, all other payment terms also you can assign to same reference data set. Now say for example BU2 need access to all the payment terms. Now you can create one more reference data set called as BU2 and assign all these payment terms to BU2 reference data set. Assign BU2 reference data set to BU2. Then BU2 can have access to all the payment terms. Okay. The business units cannot have access to payment terms directly. That is the reason we have to create the reference data set. The payment terms we have to assign to reference data sets. Reference data set you can assign to BU so that BUs can have access to payment terms. So this is the point we have to understand. So the overall purpose of reference data set is to set or to give the permissions for setup data. Payment terms means setup data. Which setup data can be accessed by which payment terms, which setup data can be accessed by which business units, that you can set by using the reference data set concept. Otherwise, all the business units can have access to all the payment terms. Say you have a BU1, you have 100 payment terms. The BU1 required access to only 10 payment terms. So you should not allow BU1 to have access to 100 payment terms because BU1 required access to only 5 or 10 payment terms. With the help of reference data set, you can restrict that. How many payment terms the BU required access, you can allow that BU to have access to those payment terms only. Okay. So this is the point we have to understand. Now we'll see how to create the reference data set, how to create the payment term, how we can assign the payment term to reference data set, how finally the reference data sets can be assigned to business units, we'll see. Okay. The payment terms purpose is to calculate the due dates. Even if supplier is giving the discounts also you can set up within the payment term. Okay, the simple statement you can remember. With the help of payment terms, we can calculate the due dates and the discounts. Okay, by using the payment terms, we can calculate the due dates and the discounts. That is a simple statement you can remember. Now what we'll do is, we'll see how to create the reference data set and how to create the payment term, how we can assign the reference data payment term to reference data set, how reference data set can be assigned to BU, we'll see. First we'll see how to create payment terms. Then we have to create the reference data sets, or else first we'll create reference data set, create a reference data set, then create payment terms, create payment terms. This payment term we have to assign to, okay, first we have to create reference data set, is first step. Second step is we have to create the payment term. The third step is you have to assign the payment terms to reference data sets. Third step. The fourth step is you have to assign this reference data sets to business unit. Fourth step. Okay. The first step is create reference data set. The second step is create payment term. The third step is assign payment terms to reference data set. Assign payment terms to RDS. Okay. Assign payment terms to RDS reference data set. And the fourth step is assign reference data set to business unit. Assign reference data set to business unit so that the BU can have access to all the payment terms which are associated to that reference data set. Okay, this is just a simple definition. We have to go and provide the name. So go to our project or search page. Let's go to our project. Setup and maintenance. Task list. Manage implementation projects. Overview. Open the project. Fine. Here search for payment of reference data set. You can use any one of the tasks. Manage reference data sets. Click on go to task icon. So by default, in every fresh instance, Oracle is providing two reference data sets. Okay, two reference data sets. Okay, those we'll go and see. Just click on search. You can see here common and enterprise. These two are provided by Oracle. Fine. So here you can see two reference data set values. One is common, other one is enterprise. These two values Oracle is providing. The remaining all are created by somebody who are practicing on that in this instance. This common and enterprise, these two Oracle is providing. We have seen in the rapid implementation system used common reference data set for our business unit. So when system we created business unit through rapid implementation, So what value system selected? Common. That's how they programmed. Okay, that's how they programmed. And even when we created business unit through manual process, there also we selected reference data set called as common. Okay, so now we'll see how to create our own reference data set, and we'll discuss few other points also. Whatever the reference data set is assigned at BU level, how it will reflect, etc. But now let's see how to create our own reference data set. Click on add. We can give the name as Amex US BU set. Amex US business unit set. If we can create one reference data set, I'm giving name as code as Amex US BU set, and set name is Amex US business unit set. That means we are creating separate reference data set for our business unit. Say save and close. Now we'll go and create the payment terms. Okay, we'll create the payment terms. Search for payment terms. Manage payment terms. Click on go to task icon. Say create. Okay, first we'll create one payment term called as immediate. Okay. Say Amex immediate payment term. So description and all these are not required. Directly you can go to installments. Click on add. So immediate means the 100% amount we have to pay immediately. Immediately means in how many days? 0 days. That's all. Amex immediate. 100% due amount. What are the amount we have to pay to suppliers? We have to pay in 0 days. Now this payment term we have to assign to reference data set, right? Assign payment term to reference data set. How to assign is very simple. Here we have a set assignments. Under that, click on add. Here you can select our reference data set. We created as a Amex. Here you can see Amex US BU set. Select it. So we created payment term and we assigned to reference data set. Say save and close. This is how we can create multiple payment terms. Let's create few more. Click on create. We'll create one payment term called as net 45. Amex net 45. Okay. We have to pay in 45 days. Click on add installment. So 100% due amount we have to pay in 45 days. So when we have to pay for within 45 days, supplier can offer the discount. That also you can include here. So in 45 days, the total amount we have to pay. How much amount that we can see in the invoice. Say supplier is saying, supplier is offering 10% discount if you pay within 5 days instead of 45 days. This is the first level discount. And the other discount term is supplier is saying supplier is ready to give 8% discount if you can pay within 10 days instead of 45 days. And so supplier is giving 5% discount, is offering if you can pay within 15 days instead of 45 days. This is how 3 levels of discounts we can set. We have to pay in 45 days. If you pay in 5 days, you will get 10% discount. If you pay in 10 days, you will get 8% discount. If you pay within 15 days, you will get 5% discount. So this is how you can define the discount terms also. Now this payment term you have to assign to our reference data set. Click on add. Okay. And select reference data set. Amex US business unit set, BU set. Say save and close. Let's create one more payment term. Say Amex. So I'm giving the name. So 50, 50. Okay, that means two installments. 50% and 50%, two installments. Click on add installments. Say 50-50 hyphen 10 days and 20 days. 50-50, 10-20. We'll see how that we can. So from total invoice amount, 50% say we have to pay in 10 days. And click on add one more installment. The remaining 50% we have to pay in 20 days. So this is a multiple installments also you can create. For each installment also you can set the discount terms. Now you can assign this payment term to reference data set. Say save and close. So this is how you can create any number of payment terms as per the business requirement. How many payment terms your client is using, accordingly you can create. But along with whatever we create, one payment term you should assign to our reference data set, that is immediate. Okay, immediate is provided by Oracle. Along with immediate, Oracle is providing few more payment terms also, but those all are not mandatory. At least immediate payment term we have to assign to our reference data set, so that when we use that reference data set for transaction creation process, nowhere you will face some issue. Okay, it's recommended that system will default. Oracle is recommending to assign immediate payment term to our reference data set. The reason is, by default, system will look for this immediate payment term only. Okay, that is the reason we have to assign immediate payment term to our reference data set. Just click on this payment terms, immediate payment term. Assign this immediate payment term to our reference data set. The immediate payment term is already assigned to many reference data sets. Now we'll assign to our reference data set. Click on add. Okay. Here, go to our reference data set. Amex USBU set. Okay, say save and close. So Oracle provided payment term, that is immediate, also we assigned to our reference data set. So far we assigned total 4 payment terms. Done. We created reference data set, we created payment terms. The payment terms we assigned to reference data set. Now 4 payment terms are assigned to our reference data set. Now that reference data set we have to assign to business unit, so that our BU can have access to all those payment terms through reference data set. Now we'll see how to assign reference data set to BU.
Lakshman, sorry to interrupt. Can you explain that
Please.
50 by 50 difference data set? I mean, payment term. 50%.
Schedules I created. 50% in 10 days, remaining 50% invoice amount in 20 days we have to pay. That's all.
Okay. 2 installments.
Yes, 2 installments. 50%, 50%.
Okay, that you can give in name itself 50 by 50.
A name for our understanding we are giving.
Okay, that means we can give also like 40 and 60, even that.
Anything you can give. For example, I took 50-50, or else you say 10% in some within 5 days, remaining 90% in maybe 20 days. Any percentage, how supplier is asking you to pay, accordingly how to enter.
Okay. Why? Because net 45, when you mention in the name,
When you say net
in
of 45, in 45 days, we have to pay the amount. There are no multiple installments, single installment.
then you gave in the discount in 10 percentage in some days, second
Yes, you can
installment
give it.
5%
That's
in
what we
these.
given. That's what we given in net 45. Even in 50-50 also you can give. 50% you have to pay in 10 days. You may set the discount if supplier is offering. So 50% you have to pay in 10 days. You can say if you pay in 2 days, 5% discount. If you pay in 4 days, okay, 1% discount. This is how you can set. Discount you can set for any payment terms except immediate.
Can you show that 51 again?
One second. Yeah, this is what we created. I given 50% amount we have to pay in 10 days. Remaining 50% we have to pay in 20 days. Or else you can say 30% amount we have to pay in 10 days. Remaining 70% amount we have to pay in 20 days. 2 installments. Or else make 3 installments. 20%, 20%, 60%.
Yeah. Mr. Lakshman,
Oh,
one
one second,
point
one
here.
second, one second. Let me complete this. Somebody asked this question, right? Is it clear now? You can go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
fine.
mean, when you have the multiple installments, how do you specify discount for each installment here? Can you
How do
refer
we?
directly? How do you refer the each installment in the discount? Say, for example,
Yeah. One second,
for each installment.
1 second. Select first installment. Select first installment. See here, 1 and 2. This is the first one. This is second one. Okay. Now I'll add one more installment. See here, 20. 10. 10, 20, 30, right? Sorry, 10, 20, 70. Total 100%. How? 3 installments. Okay. In 3 rows, we have a 3 installments. Below you see how many rows system created? 1, 2, 3. Okay. If I want to add one more, it will add one more row below. Accordingly, you can specify.
Okay, got it. I mean, each row is referring to its corresponding row on the top. Okay,
Exactly.
got it.
So whatever just you select, accordingly it will allow you to set the discounts.
And how do we set this installment number, like whether 10% is the first installment or 70% is the first installment? So
Based on the days it will understand. Here I'll give in 5 days. This is how it will become first installment. You have to pay 10% in 5 days, means 5 days will come first or 10 days will come first. That's how system will understand.
okay. So lowest number of days is first.
Based on the days. Yep. This is how you can set. Fine. Now we'll go and assign our reference data set to business unit. Okay. You search for the task called as business unit set assignments. Task name is manage business unit set assignments. Whatever the reference data set we created, that reference data set we can assign to our business unit. And what reference data set we assigned at the time of BU creation? Anyone please?
Immediate.
See, understand my question. I'm talking about reference data set. At the time of business unit creation, which reference data set we selected?
USBU set.
Common, I think. Common, right?
Yes, common. Common we selected. When system created payment business unit, which reference data set system selected?
Common.
Common only. We have seen, right? What are the business unit system created? We verified system selected common. Prior to that, we created our business unit through manual process. At the time of business unit creation, we also selected common. Now we are going to assign the reference data set to BU, where how it is different, we will see and will understand that. Okay. Now go to task called as manage business unit set assignments. Okay. Manage business unit set assignments. Click on go to task icon. Select our BU. Say apply and go to task. Now find out our business unit. Omex. Select. Say save and close. So our Amex US business unit level, we have a reference data set called as a common, right? We'll just go to that page first. Okay, we'll navigate to the BU page, whatever we selected. Now, Amex US business unit is created by system through rapid implementation, whatever it may be. It may be system created one or created by us. We'll go to that page. BU name is Amex. Click on BU name. Now we can see this is our business unit, Amex US business unit. This is created by system. At BU level, what reference data set we have common? Can you change it? You cannot change. You cannot change it. Okay. Once you select and save it, you cannot change it. Now, whatever we selected at the time of BU creation, the same is defaulting here. You can see in this page. If you go to manage set assignments or business unit set assignment page, the BU creation time, whatever the reference data set is you selected or system selected, the same is reflecting here. See? So these are the reference data objects. That means for all these concepts, reference data set is applicable. We took example for payment terms. In the same way, for many other concepts, payment terms, this reference data set is applicable. These are the concepts. For all these concepts, reference data set is applicable at this BU level. Okay, Amex US business unit. At the time of Amex US business unit, whatever the reference data set we selected, the same system is taking for all the reference data objects here. You see here. For all this system is taking reference data set called as common. Now what we are discussing, we created our own reference data set for payment terms purpose, and we will assign that payment term related reference data set to this business unit. Yes, we can override at this level for only that reference data object. Okay, only for payment terms you can do that. The same way we have many other reference data set objects. Here BU level you cannot change anything. Once you select, the same system will default for all the reference data objects which are applicable for that business unit. For entire BU, what are the reference data objects are applicable for all those objects, same reference data set, whatever you selected at the time of BU creation, that will system default Now we have our own reference data set, and to that reference data set we assign payment terms. Now go to reference data object called as payment terms. Okay, reference data object. Go to reference data object called as payment terms, and we can assign whatever we created. Okay, now here and scroll a little down. Here we have payment terms. Okay, payables payment terms. System is selecting common. Now this BU can have access to payment terms. How many payment terms are assigned to common reference data set? Say our requirement is this BU need access to only 4 payment terms. That is the reason we assigned 4 payment terms to the new reference data set whatever we created. The same reference data set we are going to assign to this BU through this reference data object. What is the reference RDS we created? Amex. Okay, Amex US BU set.
BU set.
To this we assign 4 payment terms that we are assigning to this business unit related reference data object called as payables payment terms. There. Now this BU will have access to Amex US business unit for payment terms purpose. How many payment terms are assigned to this Amex US BU set? Those payment terms only this BU can have access. Here if you select common, to common reference data set, how many payment terms are assigned? All those payment terms this BU can have access. But we want to give access to only 4 payment terms. So that is the reason 4 payment terms we assign to Amex US BU set. Now that Amex BU set we are assigning to this business unit. So this BU can have access to only those payment terms with the help of this reference data set. Done. Now say save and close. Right? So we created reference data set and we created payment terms and we assigned payment terms to those reference data set. Finally, that reference data set we assigned to BU, and BU level we can see reference data set called as common for everything. Reason, at the time of BU creation we selected common. The same is reflecting, the same is defaulting for all the reference data objects, but one of the object is payment term. For payment term we change the reference data set with the one which we created, that you can call as custom reference data set, or whatever we are creating that you can call as a custom. Okay, by using the custom reference data set we change the assignment. Now our business unit can have access to only 4 payment terms whatever we assign to our reference data set. That we'll see in the next step. Now we'll go into do few setups, like you can say setup or configure. Say setup invoice options, setup payment options. In payables, when we are going to work on the invoice process, we have to create different type of invoices based on the business scenarios. So what invoices we want to create, what rules and what conditions should be applicable when you create invoices, all you can set in the invoice options. Simply we can say we can define the invoice process by using the invoice options. Okay, by using the invoice options you can define the invoice process, what type of invoices you want to create and what is applicable, what is not applicable for invoice creation. All the rules, conditions and the defaults we can set by using the invoice options. Okay, by using the invoice options you can define the invoice process. In the same way, by using the payment options you can define the payment process. You can define the payment process. Okay, what sort of payments you can process, which is allowed, which is not allowed for specific business unit you can set. Hope you remember common options also we set for BU only. So this invoice options and payment options also BU specific. For each BU we have to set. Okay, Now we'll go and set invoice options under payment options. Fine. Now we'll go and set the invoice options. Search for invoice options. Manage invoice options. So invoice options and the payment options we have to set for BUs. Okay, BU specific. For each BU we have to set invoice and the payment options. Click on go to task icon. If somebody is from EBS background, the simple note here is in EBS we have payables options. The payables option, they split it into two options in Fusion as an invoice and payment options. That's all. There is no difference. The invoice and the payment options are equal to EBS payables options. That's all. Select our business unit. Say apply and go to task. What is our BU name? Amex. Okay. Select and say save and close. So by default, we no need to set anything in the invoice options. When you are dealing with the different concepts, we can come back to this invoice options and we can set. So here as of now, nothing is mandatory. Okay. So for this business unit, we assigned our reference data set. To the reference data set, how many payment terms we assigned? 4. Those you can see here. Okay. Amex US business unit is able to have access to only these 4 payment terms. Amex net 45, Amex 50, Amex immediate. These 4 only we assigned. This BU is able to have access to these 4 payment terms. When you create invoice also, you can have access to these 4 only. If you need one more payment term, we have to assign that payment term to reference data set. Already reference data set is assigned to our BU. That's how we can get access to that payment term. So in the invoice options, as of now, we don't need to set anything. Nothing is mandatory. We'll work on the approvals. At that time, we'll set approval related information here. We'll work on the prepayment. We'll set accordingly. Okay, we'll work on just this discounts and other many concepts we have here. Many concepts we have. We have interest concept. We'll enable and we'll set. So there are many points which we have to set up within this invoice options. Once we start working on the payables, based on the concepts, we'll discuss and we'll set required information, required checkboxes, enabling the checkboxes or entering some information in this page. We'll do that. Okay, for now you don't need to set anything. Only one point you can notice. So this BU got access to only 4 payment terms through reference data set, whatever we assign. That's all. But notice we have a concept called as invoice options. Through invoice options, you can set all controls and defaults related to invoice process. Okay, we are not changing anything, just we navigated to see this. The same way payment options also, we don't need to set anything as of now, because we have to know about all the features what we have in the payables, so that when we are doing the implementation for our client, we can set as per the business requirement. Since we are learning, now if I go and set, everything is new for you, it will create some confusion. So once we start working on the concept, we will set so that easily you can understand. And later, when you are doing implementation, by the time you will be knowing all the functionalities and how to set all those, we will be able to do it. Okay, for now, just try to understand what options we have. So manage payment options. Click on go to task icon. Here also, when we are dealing with third-party payments, etc., we have to enable these checkboxes and all. That we'll see when we deal with those concepts. For now, nothing is mandatory. Okay, nothing is mandatory. Just you can navigate to those pages. That's all. That's enough. When you are working on the concepts, we can set what we need to set. Done. Okay. So that's all about invoice options and payment options. Now we'll set up distributions for invoice. See, when you create invoice, say for example, I'm creating invoice with $1,000. I'm going to create invoice with $1,000. The $1,000 amount is belongs to what I have to specify. Say 1,000. So I purchased some item. Which item? Any item you can take. The item cost is say $950. On the tax is say 30. And freight. The transportation is 20. Or else freight is 10. Some other expense are 10. Okay. The total is $1,000. So when you create invoice, this is how you have to distribute the invoice amount across the various accounts. Which item you can have a separate account. For tax you can have a separate account. For freight you can have a separate account. For expense what you spent related to that item purchase or etc. you have to track in the system. When you create invoice, the invoice amount you have to distribute. Okay, when you create invoice, the invoice amount you have to distribute across the accounts. To distribute the invoice amount, automatically we can use the concept called as distribution set. So when you create invoice, you can enter the account and you can enter the amount. Account and amount you can enter. This is how we can do the manual distribution. Invoice amount you can distribute across the various accounts with certain amounts. If you don't want to distribute this invoice amount automatically, what you can do is you can set like this. Whenever you create invoice, say 95% amount should goes to item. Okay, 2% amount should goes to tax. 1% amount from the invoice amount should goes to freight. 1% amount should goes to tax, or else 2% amount should goes to expense. This is how you can create the rule in the system. This rule here will give the accounts: item account, tax account, freight account, expense account will give the percentage like this. Okay, so this is how you can create the rule in the system. What you are doing, you are giving the item, nothing but account, and you are giving the percentage. By giving the item and percentage, if you create the rule in the system, that we call as distribution set. In the system, you can create the distribution set by specifying the account and percentage. Now, I'll give the distribution set name as ABC. The ABC distribution set, what we have? 4 items we have, and these are the percentages we have. Say now I'm creating one invoice. Okay, I'm creating one invoice. When I'm going to create invoice, if I enter like amount like say $200, and I created invoice with the $200. Now automatically what system will do? Okay, what system will do here? I'm going to use for this invoice ABC distribution set. As per ABC distribution set, these are the accounts are there. It will take automatically. This is how it will take the percentage. Okay, it will take 190 for this item, because 95% means within this 200, 190. And here it will take tax how much percentage? 2%. That means $4. Freight 1%. That means $2. And expense 2%. Means $4. So total $200 distributed as per this percentages for these 4 accounts with the help of this distribution set. So this is how By using the distribution set, we can distribute the invoice amount automatically based on the percentage which is available within the distribution set across the accounts. Or else you can enter the manual distribution also. When you create invoice, whatever the amount you are entering in the invoice, the amount belongs to which account and how much amount is applicable for that specific account you can enter through manual process. If you want to automate the invoice amount distribution across the different accounts, we can use the distribution set. Say for example, I'll create the distribution set with accounts. Say these are the various accounts and percentage. Sometimes I may not aware of percentage, but I am very sure if I am going to purchase something, so some amount will belongs to so and so accounts. I mean this tax, right? And I am not sure about percentages. In that case, let system take accounts, at least we can enter the amounts. In this scenario, system will take accounts as well as a percentage. Based on percentage, system will take the amounts. Okay, in this distribution set, we are giving account as well as percentage. In another distribution set, you may give only accounts. We may not very sure about the percentages. So this is how you can create the different distribution set. The distribution set purpose is to distribute the invoice amount automatically. The first one is account and percentage you can give. Based on the percentage, system will distribute the invoice amount across these accounts. In another scenario, we are giving accounts but we are not sure about percentage. So without percentage, you can create the distribution set. So we can give only accounts. If you create the distribution set with account and percentage, that we call as full distribution set. Full distribution set. If you create distribution set without percentage, that we call as skeleton. Skeleton distribution set. That means there is no complete information. So the very first point is, what is the purpose of distribution set? The purpose of distribution set is to distribute the invoice amount automatically. We can use the distribution set. What are the type of distribution sets? We have two types. One is full, other one is skeleton. What is the difference between this full and skeleton? In case of full distribution set, we provide account and percentage. In skeleton distribution set, we can have only accounts, no percentage. So since no percentages, system cannot distribute the invoice amount. At least it will take accounts. Amounts we have to enter. So this is what we have to understand. Let's see how to create the distribution set. Once we create invoice, we can use this distribution set so that we can understand how it will work. Okay, we'll go and create this full as well as skeleton distribution sets for our understanding. Okay, and again, when you create invoice, distribution set is not mandatory. Okay, could be full or skeleton. These distribution sets are not mandatory. Why? If distribution set is not there, no issues. We can enter through manual process. Say invoice amount is 500. The 500 belongs to which accounts, you can select the accounts. For each account, how much amount you can enter. That's how manually you can enter the accounts and amounts. That is the reason distribution set is not mandatory. Okay, distribution set is optional. If you want to use, you can use, or else you can enter through manual process. We will test both scenarios. How we can enter through manual process, how we can use the distribution set to distribute automatically. As a part of setups, we'll see how to create the distribution set. Say create distribution set. Go to implementation project, search for distribution sets. Okay, manage distribution sets. Click on go to task icon. Say create. Okay. Select our business unit. So the distribution sets are BU specific. Okay. So select our distribution set, BU name, Amex US business unit. Now say I want to create one distribution set for expense. Or else you can write which expense also. Say miscellaneous expense. Click on add. Say 100% amount should goes to so and so account. If I use this distribution set, the total invoice amount should goes to miscellaneous expense. Here what I can do is here select miscellaneous expense account, search for miscellaneous expense account, miscellaneous expense. With the same account, if any code combination is already available, you can search. Click on search. With this account, already any code combination is available, it will display. Click on search. Yeah, already we created code combination here. Okay. The same account, we have a code combination that you can use it again. Instead of selecting again company, department, account and all. So we can use that existing code combination. Yes, company is this, department and all. Okay. Say okay. Now within the distribution set, we are defining the rule. If you use this distribution set for any invoice, total invoice amount should hit to this account. The total amount means 100% invoice amount should hit to this account. And say save and close. We'll create few more distribution sets here. Say create. Select our business unit. Okay, the name. Name is, say for example, you are purchasing furniture. And you can add the distribution set here. Say 95% should goes to furniture account. Select company, department. You can take any example for our understanding. Okay, here I'm just taking furniture. So furniture. Select defaults. So instead of selecting this company, department, intercompany, project, feature 1, feature 2 all the time, you can set all these as the defaults. Okay, all these you can set as a defaults. Say okay. Say 4%. I'm going to copy the same code combination and you can change the account. Maybe you can search for some tax account. You can pick any one of the tax value just for testing, no issues. Say okay. And remaining 1%, maybe freight. Select freight account. Freight. Say OK. 1. Okay, total 100%. 95 plus 499, 100. So this is how you can create full distribution set. Okay. If you don't give this percentages, this we call a skeleton distribution set. Now you should enter some value because this field is mandatory. Instead of giving all these percentages, you can make as 0. Before that, here you can change the value to 0 if it is skeleton. If you are not sure about percentages, set all to 0. Now this you can call as skeleton distribution set. Okay, 3 accounts. For each account we are giving distribution percentage 0. If you give certain percentage, accordingly that invoice amount will be distributed across these 3 accounts. If you don't give any percentage, okay, you have to provide 0. In that case, you have to give percentage at 0. If you want to give percentage here like 20, 30, whatever you want to give, set distribution percentage as 100. So this is how you can create full or skeleton distribution set. Now if I click on save, this will become skeleton. By changing the value from 0 to 100, if I enter percentage equal to 100, this will become full distribution set. So this is how we can create distribution sets. So for our business unit, we created 2. In the same way, you can create a number of distribution sets as per business requirement. It's all about adding account and giving percentage. Wherever percentage is not very sure, at least we'll enter the accounts. In case of percentage field, we'll give zeros. So that's how you can use the distribution set. When you create invoice, account system will take amounts you have to enter. If you provide accounts and percentages, everything system will take. Okay, anyway, we created, we will, when we are testing, we will see those. Done. So that's how we can create the distribution sets. Now we'll create the bank account. Now what are the setups we completed? With the help of these setups, we'll be able to create the invoice. Okay, you can create invoice. To create invoices, these setups are enough. What are the setups we completed? These setups are enough. But once we create invoice, we have to make the payment to supplier. To make the payment to supplier, we require payment terms. We require bank accounts. Based on the payment terms, we'll make the payment, but to make the payment, we require bank account. Now we'll see how to create the bank account. When we talk about bank account, first we have to create bank, then branch, okay, then bank account. And within the bank account, we have to create the documents also, nothing but checks. How we are going to make the payment to suppliers that we have to create. So first we have to create a bank, then branch, then account, then documents. After creating this bank, branch, account and documents, we have to create the profile to make the payment that we call as payment process profile. How to create payment process profile. So without payment process profile, you cannot make the payment. Within the payment process profile only, you can specify to which business units we want to make the payment, by using which payment method we want to make the payment, in which currency we want to make the payment, by using which bank account we want to make the payment. Certain rules and conditions we can set up within the payment process profile. Okay, payment process profile. Payment process profile. Okay, payment process profile, we can set all those. Done. So once we're done with these two setups, what else we have to do is we have to assign AP roles to user. Assign AP roles to user to that AP roles. Okay, for every application we'll have a separate roles to perform the transactions. The accounts payables, Oracle is providing the three roles. The three roles we have to assign to user. Those three roles we have to assign the business unit. Say assign business unit to AP roles. Okay. First roles we have to assign to the user, to the same roles we have to assign to the BU so that user can have access to business unit through those roles. And if you want to create the invoice or any transaction, if you want to create in the payables, we have to open payables periods. So open, and after assigning this, we have to run the LDAP job. Okay, after assigning the roles to the user, after assigning the BU to the AP roles, we have to run LDAP job for role synchronization. Okay, what are the business unit we are assigning to AP roles that need to be synchronized? Those need to be updated in the directory services. For that, we have to run the LDAP job. So after running LDAP job, okay, we can open the periods. Open AP periods. So these are the setups. These are the basic setups. Once AP periods are open, you can create the invoices. That will see. Okay. We just completed setups up to here, right? We create up to distribution set. Now we'll see how to create the bank branch, bank account and documents to process the payments. Fine. So go to our implementation project. Okay. Or else what we'll do is we'll set default account code combinations. Okay. Before that, we'll set that and later we'll see that. Go to chart of accounts structure. Chart of accounts structures. Manage chart of account structures. Click on go to task icon. Click on search. Go to manage structure instances. Find our instance MX. Click on edit. Here you can see one checkbox called as dynamic combination creation allowed. Because of this checkbox only, system is allowing us to create new code combinations. Okay. When you enter company, department, account and other segment values, if you say okay, system is accepting because of this checkbox only. Dynamic combination creation is allowed. If you disable it, new code combinations you cannot create. Just notice that point. But whenever we are creating the account code combinations, we are selecting the company, department, account, and intercompany, project, future one, future two. But every time we no need to select all those. What we can do is except account for all values, we will set the default so that whenever we create the transaction or whenever we enter the accounts, you no need to select all the values. You can select just account. Rest system will pick. Okay. We'll set for company default value, department default value, account no need to set, we will select, and intercompany, project, future one, future two will set the default values. Select company, click on edit. So here you can select default type as a constant and set default value. System should pick 1000 only. If you want to change, you can change. Say OK. Select department. Click on edit. Select default type as a constant. The system should pick 1000. Here you cannot find list of values. Whatever the departments we have in this department Amex value set, you cannot find. You should remember you have to enter the right value what is already there. Say OK. Account we are not entering. During the transaction creation or entry, we can select. So intercompany. Select default type as constant. So whatever we are entering here, that should be there in that respective value set. 0000. Yes. The intercompany Amex value set, we have this 0000. Say OK. Select project value set, project segment, click on edit. Constant. Here you can give 0000. Project also you have one value as a 0000, right? Say OK. Feature 1. Which value system has to default for feature 1? That you can select. Only one value we have, that is 0000. Say OK. Select feature 2. Click on edit. Default type is constant. Default value is 0000. Say OK. So this is how you can set constant values for each segment so that when we try to enter any account code combination, it will pick the same. You can change if you want to change, or else you can accept the same. We'll see how that will work. Since we did some changes, now again we have to submit for deployment. Deploy flex field. Okay, now it is 8:30 almost. Here we'll take 15 minutes break and we'll continue. Okay, we'll take 15 minutes break and we'll continue. So meantime, this process also will be completed. I'll stop recording. We don't need to record this deployment process. I'm going to stop the recording. We'll have a 15 minutes break and we'll continue. Yeah. So this deployment also completed. Now we'll proceed with this. Okay. Done. First, we'll see how to create the bank, then branch and account documents. Search for banks. Say manage banks. You can use any task. All will navigate us to same page. Just paths are different. So first we have to create the bank, then branch, then account. Within the account, we have to create the documents. Click on go to task icon. So create. We are going to create the bank. The bank belongs to which country? Select country. Select country and say OK. The bank name. We'll go with a name called as Amex only. Okay, say Amex Bank. The other details are completely optional. You can say save and close. So that's how just you can create the bank. Now against this Amex Bank, if you want to create a branch, you can just click on create branch, or else you can go back to the previous screen. There we have a separate task called as a branch. You can create from here itself. Select Amex Bank, whatever you created, click on create branch. So this is a bank. We are going to create the branch. Amex branch. I'm giving name as Amex branch. And here other details are optional. You can say save and close. Now against this branch, you have to create the bank account. Just click on done. Here we have a separate task called as manage bank accounts. From manage bank branches, you can create the branch against the bank. But from the same page, the tab is available, we created. Now let's create bank account. Task name is manage bank accounts. Click on go to task icon. Just click on say create. Say create. Select bank branch. We are creating account against which branch. Here we have a branch called as Amex branch. Account name. Say Amex corporate account. Account number. So you can give any number. So this is the number I am giving. The bank account we are going to maintain in which currency? Select currency, USD. And who is the owner to this bank account? Select that owner name. Owner is nothing but legal entity. Legal entity is nothing but company identification. So here we have to select legal entity name. Our legal entity name is Amex. Search and select our legal entity. And here is one note for the EBS guys who are from EBS background. There is a simple note. In EBS, you cannot select legal entity at the time of bank account creation. If you want to select, you have to create party tax profile. Okay, party profile you have to create. Means you have to make legal entity as a owner in the user management. Okay, profile you have to create. You have to give the privileges to legal entity. Then only legal entity can act as a owner. But in the fusion, you no need to do that. Not required. Every legal entity is acting as a owner for a bank account directly without any permissions. This is what we have to notice. So select legal entity. This bank account we are going to maintain under which legal entity? One bank account can be under only one legal entity.
Mr. Lakshman, sorry to interrupt. Can you repeat what you said?
Do you know EBS?
Yeah.
Do you find any difference now when I'm creating the bank account?
In terms of what?
Bank account creation.
Currency we are creating. Legal entity also we are selecting.
No, we selected legal entity. Can you select legal entity in a EBS directly?
Yeah, while creating account, we need to give there also the legal owner, right?
How to give? We have to give. Can you give directly? You are not.
Yes, right. While creating the bank account, we can give the owner.
No.
Legal entity.
Answer is no. In EBS, you cannot select legal entity directly. If you want to select any legal entity as a bank account owner, you have to create as a owner in the user management application. Okay. You have to provision the access. But in Fusion, that is not required. That is the point I am saying. If you are aware of that, this point is required for you. Otherwise, ignore it. No issues. Try to understand how to legal entity here, bank account here. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
R12, you cannot select. Okay, legal entity is not directly owner for the bank accounts. You have to make legal entity as owner. Then only you can select here. Yeah. But here, that provisioning the access to legal entity as a owner, they removed. That is a difference I am trying to explain. Fine. Anyway, that is an EBS. Ignore it. If you are aware, you can just correlate and understand. Otherwise, no issues. Now, this bank account, what bank account is? Amex corporate account, whatever you are creating with this account. This bank account you want to use in which applications? That you have to select here. So payroll is not related to us. We can select payables and receivables. In payables to make the payment and in receivables to receive the payments. Just you can mark this bank account you want to use in payables and receivables applications. And as per rapid implementation sheet, accounts are already available. So system is selecting the cash account, cash clearing and required accounts automatically. We no need to select anything. Scroll little down. Here you can create the payment documents. Click on add. Here you can say Amex check. So the checks how you are going to get from the banker, whether they are going to provide pre-printed stationery or blank stock, that you can select here. As an organization, we can request for continuous stationery. The checks continuous stationery we can request for bankers. So what sort of stationery you are going to get from the banker to print the checks, accordingly you can select. Okay. Blank stock you may get, that means you will get the blank stationery you will insert in the printer. Everything, the check, including check format, everything will be printed from the printer only, from the system. Or else the banker will provide the check with the format and all. Just you have to print, pay to whom and how much amount and invoice, date, etc. You will be printing from the system. So I'm selecting numbered stock. That means pre-numbered stock. And the bank to bank, the check format should be different. If you are going to use Citibank, the Citibank check format definitely will be different, slightly different from HSBC Bank, and HSBC Bank check format definitely can be different from Standard Chartered Bank. So this is how for every bank account check formats you can find some difference when you compare. So as per the check formats, the formats need to be created in the system by technical people. Okay. So client is using HSBC Bank to make the payments to suppliers. To print that format, to print that payment information on the stationery, the exact format need to be aligned in the system also. That should be done by technical people. So once the technical people will keep the format ready, the format we have to select. Say now you are creating these documents for HSBC check format. The reality, the client will provide the one cancelled check and will take the check and will pass to the technical team. Then they'll take the measurements, height, width, pay to starting from after how many characters space, and where invoice need to be printed, amount need to be printed, where date exactly where it has to be printed as for physical check format. All the alignments technical people will take and they'll modify the alignments, and once they keep format ready, that format we have to select here. Okay. So by default, Oracle is providing few seeded formats. For now, you can select those seeded. How technical people will create the format. Once they create the format template, how to create the format, how to associate, I'll cover in our classes. For now, what Oracle is providing, that you can select. That is standard check format. Based on the bank, technical people will create the separate formats. Those formats we have to select here. For our practice purpose, whatever Oracle is providing as a seeded format, that you can select. This seeded format only technical people will modify as per the bank, which bank you are going to use for the payments. Now here you can provide the check numbers. First available document number, last available document number. Check numbers you can provide. Say I'm giving say 1001 to 2000. The banker will provide the documents, checks, the check numbers we have to enter here. This format, how to create the own format, I will cover. Yep.
Mr. Lakshman, one quick question. Sorry for interruption.
Yeah,
suppose if the bank, we are, suppose in case if you are receiving checks from the bank, we need to go for the other option?
If when you are receiving the checks from the bank only, you have to select this option. See here, this is what. Numbered stock you are receiving. On the checks, what you are getting, there is a number, check number. That is the meaning of it. See, any scenario you have to receive from the bank only. That can be empty stationery or some pre-printed stationery. If it is empty stationery, okay, empty stationery, use blank stock. That means everything you will print from the printer only. That everything you have to accommodate within this format. What need to be printed, technical people will take care. You are getting the stationery checks from the banker with check numbers. In that case, you select this option. Accordingly, the technical people will include what need to be printed from this format to check which you are going to insert in the printer. That's all. The two scenarios.
When you receive, when you are receiving it, why do you need to go for printing?
What you
When
will,
you're receiving the checks,
one second. So you have check with you, okay? You want to give check to somebody, right? What you will do? You will write pay to whom, amount, date, inwards. These are all you have to print from the printer only, system only. The check
oh, okay,
will
that
insert in the
sense you are
printer.
talking about.
Once you make the payment, supplier name should go on printed on the printer as per format. The amount what we have in the payment, it has to go from the system to printer. Okay, when it is going exactly, it has to go to right place in the check which you insert in the printer. For that, exact alignments need to be set in the system with the help of format. Okay, this is what.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Now this bank account you are going to use in which business unit? You have to assign this bank account to business unit. Okay. We created bank account. Bank account is ready with the documents also. Now this bank account can be used by which business unit? One bank account can be assigned to multiple business units, but all the business units should be under same legal entity. As per enterprise structure, the BUs will have under legal entity. Okay, under that legal entity, how many business units you have? To those business units, you can assign the business unit. Okay, this legal entity you can assign to those business units. Now we are trying to assign our business legal this bank account to our business unit. Go to business unit access page, click on add, select our business unit. Amex US business unit, select and say okay. Now we assigned our bank account to this business unit. If you go to this business unit, if you want to make the payment to supplier, yes, you will have access to this bank account to use for payment process. Now simply you can say save and close. Our bank account is ready to use to make the payments from Amex US business unit. Done. Now you have to set up certain rules. By using our bank account, you can make the payments in single currency or multiple currencies, and which method, etc. we have to create. Those all you can set up by using PPP, payment process profile. We have to create the profile. When you make the payment, system will look for the profile as per which profile payments need to be processed. The profile we have to define. When you are making the payment, system will verify what profile we have and which payments need to be selected, which invoices need to be selected for payment, and all that conditions rules system will verify. We'll go and see how payment process profile can be created. Without payment process profile, you cannot make single payment. Payment process profile is mandatory to process the payments. Search for payment process profile. Okay, search for payment process profiles. Search for payment process profiles. Click on go to task icon. Here you can click on create. You can provide the name Amex payment process profile. Provide code, say Amex PPP. And here also you have to select the same payment format. What are the format we selected in Amex corporate account? Select the same. What is the format we selected? Standard check. Standard check format. Reality technical people will create the formats for each and every bank. Those we have to select. Processing type, say printed. Now here you can set the rules. By using this payment process profile, you want to process any payment method related payments are specific. If you want to process only check related payments, yes, you can select check or some other methods you can select, so that this payment process profile you can use only for those selected payment methods. You may select only check, or else you want to use this payment method for any payment method related payments, then keep as all. And disbursement bank accounts. By using this payment process profile, you want to make the payment for specific bank account related payments or any bank account. You may select our bank account here, so that this payment process profile you can use to make the payment to our bank account only, not other bank accounts. In the same way, any business unit related payments are specific, any currency are specific. This is how you can set a rules here. As per that rules only, this payment process profile you can use. Okay. Other than the rest, all you can accept as it is all. Only you have to enter name, code, and select format, and the processing option, processing type you can select as a printed. Then say save and close. The rules you can accept as it is. It will give flexibility. Anything you can select.
Lakshman, the payment
Yeah.
format question,
Yeah.
can we have a payment format for wire payment or like an electronic payments?
Yes, we can create that. The format need to be customized by technical people. Okay, the instruction file we call. Okay, the instruction file, the format technical people prepare, that you can attach over there. Wherever you attach the standard check format, there you can attach that different format. Accordingly, when you make the payment, the instruction will be generated that you can pass to the bank by following the channel what we are using. There only, that also, however technical people are going to create the check format, in the same way it could be electronic or wire, or it could be any other method. Okay, the instruction file related format need to be created by technical people, that you can attach over.
Yeah, but I've heard Oracle has a lot of pre-built integration with lots of banks.
Yes, that is, integration is different and format is different. When you have it,
No, format.
then you can.
I meant the format, not the integrations. Like if let's say in
Instruments.
US, you have Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they have all available from what I have heard. I'm just asking.
You see, it could be any bank. The banker will provide some instrument. Okay, some portal link, some other option. Then you have to place those files, instructional files in that. They will access accordingly as per the instruction. They will disperse the funds to the suppliers.
Yeah, it's just a file format of whatever bank.
File format need to be created by us. There is no seeded or standard format. Okay,
so there is no out of
providing one predefined format called as standard check format. For others also, other wire and electronic also, Oracle is providing the sample format only. It totally depends on the bank, which information they need. Accordingly, the template need to be modified. In every implementation, you have to customize. No standard format can be used by any client, because that is sample Oracle is providing. That's all.
I see. Okay, yeah, I'm just checking if the Oracle provides. I think I heard
there is no seeded. Seeded is there for sample, not for usage directly.
Got it. All right, thanks.
Yeah. Now we have to assign
Question,
to user. Okay, don't assign API.
Lakshman, one more question. Sorry to interrupt.
Please go ahead.
The payment process profile which we have given, we already given the format in the payment documents, right? But then why we are giving the payment process profile in that also same format? Why you mentioned?
Yeah, if these two are matching, then only the invoices will get selected for payment. Okay, the bank account level, whatever you given, and in the payment process profile level, what you are giving, if two are matching, then only system will pick the invoices for payment. That is the criteria system will use. You should provide same. If you have one payment format in the bank account level, if you are using different here, invoices cannot be selected for payment. Both should match. That is the reason we do the same.
What exactly the use of payment process profile?
Payment process profile, we can set the rules. Okay, when you are making the payment, as per which rules you are processing the payment, The rule can be if you want to process the payments for single business unit, or else you want to process the payments for single currency, or else it could be you want to process the payment for specific payment method or selected payment methods. Okay, there I have shown, right, all are specific. Okay, there primarily we can set the rules to process the payments. There you can decide. This is flexible to use for any bank related payments or any payment method related payments or any currency payments or any business unit related payments. If it is for any, you can keep as it is. If you want to limit that payment process profile to use only for specific bank account or specific business unit or specific currency or specific payment method, you can select for what you want to use that. Now we kept it as a open. We didn't select, just I selected, but again I removed for our understanding purpose. So that is open. You can use for any currency, any payment method, any bank account and any business unit. So that's
Generally, it is default.
sorry.
Generally, it is given default. That means it is open means default.
Default means it will accept with any. Okay.
Okay.
The rule is open rule we are creating. We are saying all. That's all. But you should create. You should create. Then only you can use it. Okay. Just because we are giving all, you should not think that is not required. You have to create how it is required. You can set. You can keep.
According to the client and the project.
Sorry.
According to the needed, we will create in the project. I mean, according to the client,
So
we
you
will
can
create.
have
Not now.
one or multiple. Generally, you can create multiple payment process profiles. Okay. Multiple payment process profiles. Say you have like a foreign suppliers. For foreign suppliers, you may create one payment process profile. In that, you can attach bank account which you are going to use to make the payments to foreign suppliers. Or else you are going to process the electronic payments. For that, you can have a separate payment process profile. There you can attach electronic related payment format, and you will be selecting that format, that electronic payment related some other information also under relevant tab. So this is how you can create multiple payment process profiles to process the payments. Yep.
Okay.
Now we can go and assign the AP seeded roles to the user. Okay, for GL we have seen. Okay, what are the seeded roles Oracle is providing? Those roles we assign to the user. In the same way, for every application, Oracle is providing the seeded roles. For AP, Oracle is providing the 3 seeded roles like accounts payable manager, accounts payable specialist, accounts payable supervisor. These are the 3 roles we have to assign to the user, and we'll go and see now. So go to security console page. Go to navigator. Go to tools. Go to security console. Assign AP specific roles to user. Okay, assign AP roles to user. Go to users. Our user is Amex. Click on username. Click on edit. Add role. The role name, AP roles are like accounts payable manager. Okay, accounts payable manager. Say assign. Just make a note. Now accounts payable supervisor. Assign supervisor role. And specialist. Accounts payable specialist role. SI. So these are the three seeded roles Oracle is providing for payables. The three seeded roles will give full access to payables application. Exactly what we have inside of each and every role that we will see as a part of payables itself. We'll have a session on role customization. There we'll discuss how roles are classified, what are the naming convention we have to use, how we can compare one role with other role, how to customize, how to copy, how to edit. We'll go through all this. For now, just remember, for accounts payables, Oracle is providing the three seeded roles. Those are these: accounts payable manager, supervisor, and specialist. Done. So we created bank account, payment process profile, we assigned AP roles to user. Now to these three roles, we have to assign our business unit, so that from those roles, we can access BU and we can record the transactions against that business unit. So by using which role by using which task we assigned our primary ledger to GL roles. What is the task we used? To assign primary ledger to GL roles, what task we used? What task we used? Here you can say save and close. We did that activity 2 times, right? Anyone please. What task we used to assign primary ledger? What task we used?
Was it managed data
General
access?
accounts?
What task we used?
Data access to user.
Data access for users.
Yes,
Same
data access to
task
user.
we can use to assign our business unit to AP roles. Okay. By using the task called as data access for users. By using this task, we assigned our primary ledger to GL roles. Now, to assign the business unit to AP roles, we can use the same task. You can search for the task from the project or you can search from the search page. Task name is data access for users. So this is the task. We have a different tasks to complete different assignments, but not required. You can use the single task and you can assign anything to any application related roles.
Lakshman, this sorry, the question is the setup is all driven by tasks. There is no menu navigation that we can easily go and find out.
No. All the setups we do from this FSM only with the tasks.
Oh, so we have to remember all these tasks.
We should, yeah.
Got it.
Fine. Select our user. MX and role. We have to assign our business unit to AP roles. So accounts payable manager, select. And what we are going to assign business unit. Select security contest as a business unit. And which business unit you want to assign to accounts payables manager role. That is MX US business unit. Select. Now click on add or you can click on duplicate. If you click on duplicate, the user will be copied, remaining you can change. If you click on add, user also you have to select. Let's click on duplicate. The current record will be duplicated. Now you can select, user is same. Select role called as specialist. Contest, security contest is business unit. That means what we want to assign to this role. What we want to assign business unit. Security contest value is nothing but which business unit you want to assign. MX US business unit. Again, click on duplicate. Select role. Accounts payable supervisor. Security contest is business unit. Security contest value is MX. Done. Okay. For 3 roles we assign our business unit. Now say save and close. Now, when we assign anything to roles, we have to run the role synchronization process. The changes need to be updated in the directory services. For that, we have to run the synchronization process. The process name is LDAP. Okay, exact name is retrieve latest LDAP changes, right? So now simply you can call as LDAP job we have to run, right? So we have to run LDAP job. Okay, this is what we completed. Now run LDAP job. To run LDAP job, go to navigator.
Sorry to interrupt. For every time we assign the rules, after that we have to run the LDAP. Is it mandatory?
Yes. Even if you don't run, those will get updated, but it will take some time. If you want to see the impact immediately, you have to run the LDAP job so that you can see the impact immediately. Otherwise, Oracle enabled auto synchronization process also. Automatically, those assignments will get updated. There may be a number of other jobs which are running. So this request will go into the queue. It may take some time. That is the reason what Oracle is recommending is when you assign any roles or two roles, if you assign any primary ledger or business units, you submit LDAP so that the changes will reflect immediately. That's what Oracle is recommending.
Or else, Mr. Lakshman, you can log out and log in. Will that affect immediately?
See, after synchronizing, still if it is not reflecting, you can do that activity. When you log out and log in, new session will be established. The changes will reflect immediately. That's all. Okay. Without running, if you log out and log in, there may not be any use. Sometimes by the time you log out and log in, if auto synchronization is already completed, you can see impact. Yeah. But follow this process. Okay. When you assign the roles, simple. Like you can go and submit LDAP and wait for just max 1 or 2 minutes and check if those are reflecting okay, or else log out and log in, you can see the changes. Yeah. This is what we have to note. Okay, the tools we have is scheduled processes. Go to scheduled processes. Click on schedule new process. Just click on schedule new process. Search for LDAP. So this is the job name. Retrieve latest LDAP changes. Select. Say OK. Click on OK. Say submit. Say OK.
I have one question. These roles which we are assigning, is there a like central place where we can see all the roles that are available? Like how do I know that which are the roles for each of the modules? So is it like we have to remember, or do
you
we
can see that? You can see that in the role customization session. I'll take you through that.
Okay.
All roles you can see. Okay, all roles you can see in one place. What are the different type of roles we have also you can see.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine, done. So we just submitted. Let's wait for some time. Okay, you don't need to wait to see the status has succeeded. It takes maybe 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes also. Depends how many changes are there. Accordingly, it will take time. But at least wait for 1 minute. Just you submit and wait for 1 minute, and then we can go and check.
Lakshman, how about the tasks? Do we have any documentation of all the tasks for each module like AP or GL?
That you can see in the instance only. Okay, for each module, each application, we have a separate folder within the project itself. I think you didn't attend the initial classes.
Yeah, initial class.
Yeah. I'll show you.
Okay.
Next time when you go to the project, I'll just show you where you can find module-wise tasks. Again,
Got it.
most of the tasks will be in the sequence only.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Now just go to Navigator and check. So verify payables is reflecting in the Navigator or not. No, right? Payables is not there. That means it's not synchronized. So just refresh. Better we can sign out and sign in. The payables roles we assign to the user and to the same roles we assign the business unit. Because of these reasons, this user should get access to payables to perform the transactions. Username is Amex. Now go to Navigator. Hope payables is updated within the Navigator. Yes. Now you can see payables here. Expand it. Under payables, you have a payables dashboard, invoices, and payments. Dashboard, it will give the information like what's going on in the payables. Okay, anything is pending, etc., approvals, all you can see in the dashboard. In the invoices section, you can create and manage various type of invoices. The payments, yes, you can create the payments and you can manage the payment related information. Anyway, we'll work on those. So this, what you see here, invoices, this you can call as invoice workbench. This link will take us to invoice workbench. This link will take us to payment workbench. Okay, we assign the roles. To the roles, we assign the business unit and we submitted LDAP job. Now, if you want to create invoice in the payables application, the AP period should be open. You have to open the AP periods, then only system will allow us to create the invoices in the current period. Okay, we'll go on to open AP periods. So let's see what is the navigation to open the AP periods. Go to Navigator. Okay, here you can find a payables, expand it, and go to task called as invoices. Click on invoices task. It will take us to invoice workbench. Now we are in invoice workbench. Here you can create invoices. Okay, we'll go and create invoices, but before that, we'll open the periods for payables application. So just click on task list. Okay, here is the task list, expand it. And here you can find one task called as manage accounting periods. Manage accounting periods. Click on manage accounting periods. Where we have our accounting periods we have in our calendar. Calendar we have in our primary ledger. That primary ledger is assigned to our business unit. Now we have to go to our primary ledger here for payables. Here application is payables. Okay, go to primary ledger. Here is our primary ledger. Place cursor on our primary ledger. It will display how many business units this primary ledger is associated. Okay, that primary ledger is associated with Amex US business unit. Now, if you open periods in this primary ledger for payables, that primary ledger is assigned to Amex US business unit. That means we are opening the periods for Amex US business unit. That's what we have to understand. Okay, and one more point, why we are able to see these many primary ledgers here. Okay, these many primary ledgers. The current user, Amex user, got access to application implementation consultant role. Application implementation consultant role means full access. So that is the reason we are able to see these many primary ledgers. If this user doesn't have access to application implementation consultant role, you don't find these many primary ledgers. You can find only one primary ledger, that is ours. But anyway, let's proceed with this. So click on Amex USA primary ledger. Within the primary ledger, we have our accounting calendar. Within our accounting calendar, the very first period is Jan 2021, right? Select the same. First period as per our accounting calendar is Jan 21. Select. Say OK. Say yes. Yes, we want to open Jan as a first period. Just refresh here. It will display the period status. Now you can see the Jan period status is open. What period we require? Current period. We have to open the December period for payables. Okay, payables. This primary ledger is assigned to how many business units. For all those business units, the period will open. Okay, you don't need to open the periods BU wise. If you open the periods for specific application at ledger level, you may have a 10 business units. For 10 business units, the period will be open. Even when you are closing also, same applicable. Okay. So BU wise you cannot do. BU wise you cannot do. We can do application wise. When you do application wise, for payables application, if you have a 10 BUs, for 10 BUs, the period will be open with associated ledger information. Now you can go to actions, say open target period. What is our target period? December. Select December, say open. Just refresh. So now you can see the December period is open for payables application. Done. Now click on done. Now period is open for payables for our business unit.
Lakshman, sorry to interrupt. Can you explain that open period and what is the difference of target period and all? I missed it.
Target period means which period you want to open. Okay. Target period means which period you want to open. Open period means here, just open period means specific period you can select and you can open. When you click on target, it will give the list of the periods and you can select which period you want to open. That is the target period.
Both are same.
Same or different. See, we'll go once again. It could be same or different. Depends on what you are choosing. Yeah. Now tell me what you want to understand here.
What is this open period and
1 second.
in actions and target period?
Yeah, here we have open period. For example, I want to open this period. John. Select John. Click on open period. Okay.
Okay.
Now I want to open April in 2022. Can I open here? Can you see April period here? April 2022.
No.
Now you can go to actions. Say open target period. Select April 22. Clear?
Okay, we are selecting particular period in the target period so that it is
See,
available to open whenever
simple.
you want.
If you have a display, if you have a period display, select and go with the open period. The period display is not there, go with the target.
Okay, in order to make it available, we need to go with the target period first.
To make it available to open.
Yeah.
If it is, you can see here in the sense, okay, you can open. If I select May 2022 as a target period, previous all periods also will be open. Yeah.
Okay.
To May, all the period system will open automatically.
from starting period to till May, if you'll open all the periods.
Yes, exactly. Previous, how many previous periods are not yet open? All it will open up to target period.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, the same point we discussed
And
also. There is no difference.
and Mr. Lakshman, one month one will be available after target this thing also, right?
Yeah, one would be available as a future enterable period.
Yeah, so that is always after target open period, right?
Yeah. After open period,
Yeah.
after current period. Okay. After current period, one period will be available as a future enterable, because in the ledger options there is an option to set that how many future enterable periods you require. By default, system will select one. That is what system is displaying. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Lakshman, sorry to ask you this question. This service R12. In R12, we never had this future period in subledgers, right?
Sorry. See.
In subledgers,
One second.
in subledgers.
One second. Before that, you have to identify other difference. In EBS, okay, EBS, you don't select any primary ledger, right? When you are opening the payables periods.
Correct.
What do you select?
We don't select it. While opening the subledger periods, we don't select the ledger.
What do you select? You don't select primary ledger.
We select only the application. Only the application, right?
No. We select operating unit.
No, by responsibility is assigned to operating unit. So we are already in the operating unit.
When you go to open periods page, we have to select operating unit. We select operating unit and we open the periods in EBS.
Yeah, correct.
Fusion, there is no business unit selection. Equal to operating unit, here we have business unit. But business unit selection is not there. And one question here.
Okay.
In EBS, you are selecting the operating unit and you are opening the periods. Do you think you are opening the periods only for that operating unit, or other operating units also which are under same primary ledger? Which is true.
Other operating units also are open, right?
So, yeah, that is the reason when you are selecting one operating unit, when system is going to open periods for other operating units which are under same primary ledger, why to choose one blindly without meaning in that?
Yeah, I appreciate your logic. It's quite logical.
Oracle changed it to what level it works.
Yeah.
What level it works, ledger level.
Correct. I understand it now. Thank you so much.
We are opening with that ledger, how many business units are associated with the respective application? For which application you are
Yes.
ledger level, for all those it will open. That's it. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, though we are opening periods for one operating unit, system is opening periods for all the operating units. So they made it very explicit by bringing the ledger here.
Exactly. What level it is working, that opening concept that they brought into Fusion for display, just selection.
Thank you so much for this clarity.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the line? How the PL level, what ledger level, whatever the sentence you just finished up.
Do you know
BUs and application? No.
Do you know EBS?
No. I'm asking in the Fusion itself.
Okay. In Fusion, nothing, simple. We opened the periods, right?
Yes.
To open the periods, what we selected after navigating that page?
We given the primary ledger name.
That's it. Ledger we selected and we opened the period, right?
Okay.
Yes, right?
Yes.
We selected ledger and we opened the period. That means we are opening the periods at what level? Primary ledger level.
Ledger level.
Not business unit level.
Okay. But you mentioned it PL associated with the BUs. That means whatever the BUs.
Showing, but you are not opening with association, right? Just it is showing for information. Here, you go to manage accounting periods. There may be 10 business units. It may show as association. Amex US business unit is showing only one business unit is associated with this primary ledger. There may be 10, but you cannot touch those. You can go to only Amex USA primary ledger. Say 20 business units are associated with this Amex USA primary ledger. Now, if I open the period here, for those 20 business units, the period will be open. I don't have a choice here to choose. That is what we are discussing. The periods we are opening ledger level, with that ledger, how many business units are associated for payables application. Okay, for all those periods will be open. This is the point we are discussing.
And Mr. Lakshman, suppose if I want to defer one of the business units.
Defer means what we want to do.
Suppose if I want to have a different open period for one of the business units.
Not possible. Not possible.
Is it not required at the business level, or is it a limitation in this?
See, organization is the same. Okay, organization is the same and ledger is the same. That is the reason they are giving the control at ledger level only. Yes, in some organizations that may be required, but system point of view, you have to do everything in one go.
Why I'm asking is, let us say one business is
No.
unit
You may
is
have
based in
different
India.
scenarios. I respect that, but not possible. Okay.
Mr. Lakshman,
But not possible in the application. You have to do for all in one go. That's all.
Mr. Lakshman,
Yeah.
can we make this one as open-ended? Open-ended means it will not lapse, like you mentioned, start date and end date, right?
For what? Start date and end date for what?
The target you mentioned that period, right? Start date and end date. You're giving from January, it is ending on 31st, 2020, like that, right?
Yeah, that is accounting, the periods within the accounting calendar. Okay. Yes, we have periods as per accounting calendar from Jan to December. Since we are using this accounting calendar for US financial year is Jan to December, the same we created here.
So this will be open-ended also, like I'm just thinking, I don't know exactly, but after 1 year we need to close the year and we need to open
No,
right?
not up to 1 year. Every month we have to close.
Every month.
Before entering into December, November periods you have to close. You have to close and you have to reconcile. You have to check everything. You have to keep everything fine within that period. Then you have to, it's a period end activity. Every period, end of the period, there will be period closing activity in every company who are using this application. Month closing.
Okay.
We hope we will verify, we do the reconciliations and all. Everything is fine. Then we'll close the November month. We'll open the December. Then users will start entering the transaction the December month. Okay.
In case if they want to change
the transaction in the previous period. This is what we do.
Okay, it means to say that it will data lock. Once you're done, once you close colors, it will not allow you to.
We lock that period
if you want,
by closing.
Even we can also open and do the modifications, right? If
yeah,
required.
you can reopen, but not recommended.
Okay. Thank you.
Reopen a period. Whatever you are closing, you can reopen, but that is not at all recommended. Because when you are closing, you check everything and you do the reconciliations and you will just prepare a final report. What is what? Then you are closing. Again, you are going and reopening when you are adding something into that means again whatever you did doesn't make sense. That is the reason it is not recommended. If there is a situation where you want to go back to the previous period to enter some transactions, some reason, yes, you can do that. It is allowed as per application, but not recommended as per business. Yeah.
Thank you.
So every month we'll check it. I mean, we'll run and we will close it.
Yeah, every month you have to verify. If you take example of payables in this month, how many invoices you created, what are the dues we have, how much, what are the transactions we created, how many we reported to general ledger. As per payables, how much we have to pay. As per general ledger, how much we have to pay. Both are matching or not. If any mismatch, what's wrong with that? If any transactions are passed in the GL. These are all we call as reconciliation. We have a concept also. When you're working on payables, you'll run the reconciliation process, you'll understand that. And I'll show you how to close the period. When you are closing the period, what are the points we have to verify? What are the key points we have to check? Okay, what is the checklist when you are closing the period? That also you'll understand. As a part of our course, I'm going to cover those. No worries. But now that is not required for us. Yes, as a point, yes, we have to close the period every month. Okay.
Mr. Lakshman, how long it is going to take place today's class? Just for the...
We'll wind up. We'll just plan up to 10. Maybe 10 more minutes we can wind up. Yeah. Just we'll create one invoice, very high level. And very detailed, yes. We'll discuss we'll add points and we'll see. For today, just we'll see how to create invoice, or else I'll show you how to set the profile option, etc. We'll wind up. Just 10 more minutes, that's all. Fine. Now we are in the invoice creation page. I mean, invoice workbench. How we navigated here? Please go on mute. Okay, here we have a payable section. Click on invoices task. It will take us to invoice workbench. From this page, we can create invoices. To create invoice in the payables, click on task list. So as per P2P cycle we discussed, when we create invoice, okay, based on GRN, receipt we create invoice. Okay, 99% invoices we create in the payables by matching with the PO or receipt, based on the PO or based on the receipt only. That we will see how to create invoice based on the purchase order, based on the receipt as a part of P2P cycle. But now we'll see how to create invoice directly in the payables through manual process. What are the invoices we create in the payables through manual process? Those invoices we call as standalone invoices. Okay, standalone invoices means invoices what we create directly, those we call as standard invoices, the standalone invoices. Note that point. Now we'll see how to create invoice directly in the payables. As a part of P2P cycle, we'll see how to create invoices automatically, how to create invoice based on the PO, how to create invoice based on the receipt. Those all we will test. Now just click on create invoices task. It will take us to invoice creation page. From here you can create invoice. This user got access to how many business units? Anyone please?
One business unit.
Only one business unit. The same time, this user got access to application implementation consultant role. Because application implementation consultant role, the user will get access to everything. Here, if you see business unit field, and if you click on this drop down, you can see almost all the BUs. Okay. If you go and remove application implementation consultant role for this user will have access to only Amex. Because of application implementation consultant role, this user is getting full access to all the business units. Otherwise, this user will get access to only Amex. Okay. So because of application implementation consultant role, this user is able to access all the BUs. Otherwise, only single BU, whatever the BU we assign to this user related roles. Now, we navigated to this page. I want to create invoice. Okay, again I'll navigate. Go to task list, say create invoice. I want to create invoice for our business unit only. So I'll select our BU. Where is our BU? I have to search and I have to select. Again, I want to create one more invoice. I not yet created invoice, but just I want to create invoice again. Again, I have to go to that page. What I have to do is I have to search and select our BU. But we are working for only one BU. We don't need access to all these BUs to search and select. So reality for business users, we don't assign any application implementation consultant role. Now we are doing the setups and we are testing. That is the reason to the same user we assigned application implementation consultant role. Otherwise, no. This is how
To
every,
the employee user, you mean?
sorry?
To the employee user, you mean by saying to the employee user, it doesn't give the application implementation consultation role.
Yes, employee user, employees who are working for the company
Hello,
and to those.
hello, Lakshman sir.
Yeah, please.
So, like EBA, suppose we have five like BU and one user we just want to give the access of two BU. So I think those we are just
We have that
doing
concept,
by help of
security profile.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah,
So here it is
included
there,
that also in
right?
the course curriculum. Yeah, we are going to work on it.
Yeah, thank. Okay.
But ideally, that is not required in the future. Directly, the similar provision is available directly. But still, since there is a concept, we will discuss. Included as a part of payables. You may check. Okay, this is how every time we have to select. Okay, instead of selecting, we can set as a default. Whenever this user, Amex user will navigate to this page, if you want to default business unit as a Amex US business unit, you can set the business unit as a default business unit. If you remember in general ledger application at the time of journal creation, what we did, instead of selecting category every time, we set as a default category. Whenever you navigate to journal creation page, automatically system will pick the category called as adjustment. In the same way, you can set default business unit for this user. We'll go and set so that whenever we navigate to this page, system won't ask us to select specific BU. It will select. If you want to change, you can change, since this user got access to all the BUs. Same task name. We are going to set the profile option. Which profile option we used? What is the task name we used to set the profile option for journal category? Can you tell me the name? What is the task name to set the profile option? I think in the last session, yesterday only, we did that. Do you
Manage
remember the task
administration.
name? Please make a note of each and everything. When you are practicing, that is really required. Just if you attend the classes, you may understand, but when you practice, then
manage administrator.
Manage administrator profile values, right?
Profile values. Yes,
Manage
sir.
administrator profile values. Now simply you can search with the term called as profile values. This is the task name we require to set the profile options. So go to manage administrator profile values task. Now what we want to set? We want to set default business unit. We want to set one business unit as a default for our user. So in the profile display name, search for the profile option. Default business unit. Okay, type this name, default business unit, click on search. Scroll little down. Okay, here you can click on add. Just click on add. The row is added. Here select profile level. What level you want to set the profile option? Only one level is available, that is user. User level only you can set default business unit. Select profile level as user. To which user, which business unit system has to display directly. System has to default, that you can select. What is the username? Amex. Search, select, say OK. Okay, now select which business unit system has to default. Which business unit? Amex. Here is Amex. Select. Okay, for this user, this BU need to be defaulted. whenever this user navigate to any page, let user access to any page. In that page, if BU field is available, system will display Amex US business unit to that user. Say save and close. Now, whatever the update we did, okay, whatever profile option we set, it may take some time to reflect. Best thing what you can do is you can sign out and sign in. For this, you no need to run the LDAP job. When you set the profile option, you no need to run any LDAP job, not required. Even you no need to log out and log in. It may not reflect sometimes immediately. If you log out and log in, new session will be established. The changes will reflect immediately. So,
Sir, is it same? Sir, is it same like that default operating unit profile we are setting in EBS? The user
same
level, right?
in EBS
Same.
concept, the name is operating unit, here business unit. Their default operating here default business unit. Same profile option. The name changed BU OU to BU. Here is accordingly profile option name changed. Same profile option. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Now go to invoice creation page. Payables, invoices. Go to task list. Click on create invoice. Now see, BU is coming automatically. To business unit, we assigned our legal entity, right? Primary ledger and legal entity automatically. Legal entity also is coming. If you search for our supplier, supplier also will come. Supplier is coming. If you select supplier, site also will come automatically, since we have only one site. If you have multiple sites, you can select the sites. And this business unit got access to how many payment terms? Only 4, right? Here you can see 4 only. Because of reference data set. To this business unit, we created our own reference data set and we assigned. To that reference data set, we assigned only 4 payment terms. Only this BU. When you create invoice with this business unit, you can select payment terms from only these 4. Okay, these are the points we have to understand. Done. So anyway, tomorrow we'll see how to create invoice, how to create the payment, what are the various type of invoices we have, what are the business scenarios to use those. Okay, we'll just try to complete various type of invoices creation. Okay, tomorrow also just plan the time as today how we are running the session. So we'll have a break in between for 10 to 15 minutes and we'll continue. Tomorrow also.
Does it, you will,
Lakshman, I have a